What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the Warframe video. So, today we're going over Emergence Dissipate, potentially the most powerful arcane from the new Angels of Zariman arcane farming situation. So, we're going to go over how you can use this, what it's good with, and what it actually does. I'd appreciate if you are subbed to the channel so you can see when all the videos go up. We do daily Warframe video uploads. We also got a live stream channel as well. Lots and lots of streaming on there, so go check it out if you want to see a live stream of Warframe. Alright, so Emergence Dissipate, what is this going to do? It is a new operator arcane. So this is going to be equipped on your operator, and on the operator you have 2 arcane slots available. Currently I'm using Magus Lockdown and Magus Repair, but I think I might switch out Magus Repair for this in the future. So what this is going to do is it's going to require you to know what you're doing, basically. So while in Void Sling, press the left click, or I'm guessing that's trigger on controller, to dissipate the endpoint in a 10-meter radius. We're going to give this in normal people terms after I read this out. Enemies hit will have a 100% chance to create a short-lived void mote that replenishes 10 energy on pickup. So what this means in English is while you are in Void Sling, like placing the endpoint for your Void Sling, which is the replacement of Void Dash you haven't played in a while. So what you can do is there's going to be like a little hard-to-see rope that flies out. As you saw right there, it's pretty much like your Spider-Man. Where that rope is where the endpoint for your Void Sling is going to be. So what this arcane is going to do is instead of you dashing to it, you're going to pull the trigger or left click, and instead of dashing there will be a mini little like void trap or something. I don't know what to call it, but it's going to create mini energy orbs at the point for every enemy hit. So with the maxed out version we have right now, in a 10-meter radius, enemies will have a 100% chance to spawn a void mote. It looks like an energy orb. It pretty much is an energy orb, but it isn't an energy orb for things like Energize and Equilibrium and stuff like that. So these little void mote things, as DE calls them, are going to give you 10 energy per pickup. And these are instance-based, so everyone in your team is going to be able to pick up each of these that are created. And if you have lots of enemies like we have right here, it's like an energy overflow. Now, some things you need to be careful of. There's those little green things. Those are the void motes that are going to give you energy per pickup. Now, vacuum does work on them. You can't pick them up if you're full energy, so I'm full energy on Saren right now. Can't pick them up. They last for about 10 seconds in the air before they dissipate and disappear. And like I said, I picked that up. If I had teammates on my team right now, they could also pick up an instance of that on their screen. If you cast your energy or cast your abilities, you can pick them up if they're flying towards you. And something you want to keep in mind as well is that the operator can pick these up as well. So you want to be careful. If you're trying to get energy for your frame and you're using this arcane, don't get too close to them as operator or you're going to vacuum them up and waste all that dissipate. So that's pretty much the general gist of what it does. That is per enemy. And you can do it 2 different ways. You can like double jump and left click, which will work. Or you could be in void mode while in Viz and left click once the void sling gets close enough to them. So that's something you could do. There's like 2 ways. It's probably another way to do it I'm not thinking of, but those are the 2 ways that I've mainly been doing it. And let's talk about this. I'm going to go ahead and say this is not a replacement Energize at all. It's not. I would say it's a complement to Energize because for Energize, I don't have to do what I just did right there, which is tedious in my opinion. So Energize, this has been like a meta arcane since it came out basically. On energy orb pickup, 60% chance to replenish 150 energy to yourself and allies within 15 meters. It has a 15-second cooldown, and it gives you an additional revive. So the thing here is that to make that work, I don't need to go over and do that void sling canceling nonsense at all. I play the game normally, I kill enemies, and I get energized to proc. So that already means that it's not better. It requires way too much of you. There you go, energized proc from me just walking near that energy orb, getting vacuumed in, and it's good to go. Now the cooldown was added to balance it like a year ago or 2 years ago at this point, but you see what I'm saying here. I don't have to do any like goofy little, dances to make this work. But here's where the Emergence Dissipate does come in and actually is really powerful. So let's say, maybe not on Saren. Okay, let's talk about an invisibility frame, and this is going to be endurance focused in my opinion. So let's say on Ashe, probably the best endurance frame in the game. I'm bringing my like crazy powerful loadout. And I've got a good amount of energy. I've got a maxed out prime flow, I believe, on this build. And we are running Energize because I want to go in Viz whenever I can. So, yeah, we've got 244% duration, but even with all that duration, only 20 seconds lasting for our Invis. So what this is going to do here and help you out with is that let's say You know, you're doing a really high level endurance run. These guys are super, super high level. And we're going to unpause these guys. I'm invis, but look, for some reason they're so tanky I can't kill them right now. For whatever reason. What you can do is, it's like an emergency little energy snack is how I refer to it as. So like, okay, I need energy back for my invis. That energy you got right there, that's enough to recast your invis once it ends. So unlike Energize, which requires a kill and the RNG of an energy orb pickup, this is a guaranteed way to get energy back, as long as you have enemies around you, that is. So I can just constantly have my invis up. I can recast my Blade Storm whenever I want to. Now, of course, this is not very practical as far as, you know, actual missions gameplay, because your teammates are going to be running around with the Kuvazar blowing everyone up. So, you know, having this like, oh look, there's like 3 or 4 enemies that aren't dying. Like, is that actually going to happen? Unless you're playing solo, potentially not, but also, you know, not every situation is going to be every enemy is dead around you. Like I said, it's more endurance focused if you ask me. In that regard, I do consider it worth it. But here's the thing as well, is like I said, you only have 2 arcane slots for the operator. I don't know if I can look at that in here. Yeah, I don't think you can. You only have 2 arcane slots for the operator. What are you going to run this with? Now, what you could do is you could run like a support setup. You could run Magus Repair, and you could run Emergence Dissipate, maybe even on someone like Khora. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and say this is a good build, but this is something you could do. So we've got the Spectro Siphon Khora loadout, which already, you know, is pretty energy hungry, and we're running Energize on here too. I mean, you technically could take it off if you really thought this was enough for you, but for me, it's not enough for me. So what I'm talking about here is that you will never have an energy problem ever again with Khora if you're utilizing this. So we're going to repause them. I go over here, and not only are they going to have an increased chance to drop loot because of Pilfering Strangledome and Spectro Siphon, but while they're in the Strangledome, look at that, I can make energy orbs out of them in the air. If my teammates come over by me, they're going to have way more energy than they know what to do with. So yeah, you can see how effective this potentially could be synergy-wise. Infinite energy over here. You know, we can just pull more enemies in to our energy factory and just, you know, keep on going. So that's something you could do. And like, you could run Magus Repair. Like I said, I'm not taking off Magus Lockdown. People are like, Magus Lockdown got nerfed. I mean, you could say that since it doesn't work on Eximus or overguarded enemies, but that's the same for like every CC skill. So Magus Lockdown still works when their overguard's gone. It still works on all the trash ads, which are most of the enemies in this game. And yeah, I mean, I find it a pretty good synergy. Now, here's the thing about Magus Lockdown with Emergence Dissipate. Sometimes, like, it will actually, like, place the mine and stun enemies, and then you won't move. But like, look at this right now. It worked there, but the first couple times it didn't work. So I'm not sure exactly how you do that, but there is a trick to it, to Magus Lockdown and Emergence Dissipate at the same time. Just not exactly sure how it triggers, so yeah, this is really, really strong. Like I said, it's 10 energy per pickup, not affected by equilibrium, doesn't work on Necromex. We tested that on stream. And yeah, so here's some things as well. Like I said, you could do Magus Repair and Emergence Dissipate to give health and energy to your whole team all the time, as long as there's enemies, of course. And as far as other things, like I took off Repair because, you know, I have Hoba, my on-call crew member, to heal me. Here's some other synergies you could potentially run with this. Like I said, you could do Repair. Other ones, Anomaly, I wouldn't recommend it anymore as there's a transference delay. We'll see if they change that this week. I'm not really holding my breath on it. And you know, as far as other synergy, there really isn't much, it seems like. Like maybe Magus Revert, Return, Restore Health, blah, blah, blah. It's mostly going to be this Magus Repair. So, yeah, healing and energy for everyone. Support on a stick. But I'm sticking with Lockdown just because it's too valuable, man. Stunning 10 enemies for 4 seconds whenever you want to, and it has no cooldown as long as you have operator energy. Like, that is good. That is really, really good. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say this. Like, this Emergence Dissipate is nice and all, but do you need it? No. I'm going to go ahead and say it is not a must-have in the slightest. If it becomes dirt cheap someday, maybe. But if I go take a look at the prices for Arcane Energize and the prices of this, I would say getting an Arcane Energize is much more worth it in the long run. Because, I mean, this is strong, but do you really want to be Void Dash canceling constantly all mission long? I don't want to. So I'm going to take a quick look at the Arcane Energize prices on the Warframe market, and I'm guessing they're going to be like triple the price of Emergence Dissipate. But that's also because doing Eidolons is annoying. So a rank 5 Arcane Energize is $15.90 plat at the lowest price. And then Emergence Dissipate maxed out is going to be, you know, if the price is that different, maybe it would be worth getting, actually. A maxed out Emergence Dissipate is going for, at the very lowest, $449. So it's about half the price. And it has no cool... You know what? Now that I think about it, okay. So under half the plat price, and potentially, you know, like more fun to farm, but it's more annoying to use, while also being more consistent. So there's some trade-offs to it, but it definitely is very, very strong, especially since Cascadia Empowered was, you know, destroyed by DE. I think that's what the Arcane's called. We might have a video on that, because if you weren't paying attention to my patch notes video when it came out, there's a whole story about what happened after that patch notes video that maybe you'd be interested in. So if you want to get access to this Arcane, you can either farm it from Void Angels or Thraxes, like in the previous couple of videos on the channel, or once you hit rank 5 with the Hold Fast, you can buy them for 10,000 rep each. And remember, this needs 21 copies to get rank 5, so that's going to be like multiple 100,000 rep. But you can get it guaranteed eventually. So in that regard, it is worth it and good. So hopefully you guys found that video helpful. Like I said, it is really nice to have. I wouldn't say it's a must-have, especially with this being like, you know, the latest game tile set requiring rank 5 and a whole bunch of other stuff. So if you get your hands on it some other way, sure. If you can't get it, I would say don't bend over backwards trying to get this thing. I'll see you guys next time. Appreciate all the support and take it easy. Peace.